光る光る。これか。残念だったな。
ちょっとマジ。
なんだお前。相手にならん。抜刀さん。なんだてめえは。そこまです。裏切れ。
嬉しい。
立ってみろよ。お前や拙者のようなあっちゃいねえな。Hiten Mitsurugi-ryū。忘れるな、ヒ。
ため意を決してのこと。
こんな腕で高さませろ。来た。死ねない。一人のためにあるのではない。もう一度か。王子、国取りを有する強国。この犬か。のはお前らだ。最大民衆の前でさらしくにしろ。理想の国だと民衆を欺こうとしている。全ての民の前にさらけ出せ。
人斬り抜刀斎と呼ばれ、警察署まで連絡するべし。
江戸庭番衆。抜けば刀斎。そう。日村君。
取り戻した時に酒場どうだ。カオルとの出会い。あいつに乗り込もう。出てこい！何やっちゃってくる。キリシタンだ。なんだ、このセーブは好きじゃないけどや。
ご無事で何よりです。
あいにく
あなたでは倒せませんよ。
殺すな、クソ坊主。
弱ければ死ぬ。弱ければ死ぬ。それだけだ。僕が
勝負に勝った方、一度生き方を間違ったりはせん。お主自身が
Hey guys, today we are diving deep into the electrifying conclusion of the Rurouni Kenshin trilogy with The Legend Ends, picking up right where the last film left us. Our favorite wandering samurai, Kenshin Himura, is in a bit of a pickle. After being utterly decimated by the villainous Shishio, he washes ashore like a forgotten piece of driftwood. Luckily, not all hope is lost. He's found by none other than his former master, Hiko Seijuro, the legendary Hiten Mitsurugi-style successor. Hiko, looking perpetually unbothered by worldly drama, brings Kenshin back to his remote mountain abode, probably muttering something about Kenshin's constant penchant for trouble. Our hero is in rough shape, but at least he's not shark bait. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep action coming. Once Kenshin is back on his feet, well, sort of, still pretty wobbly, Hiko, ever the patient mentor, immediately gets down to business, which mostly involves telling Kenshin how badly he messed up. The dialogue here is fantastic, with Hiko essentially tearing down Kenshin's pacifist ideals and his perceived weakness. It's a tough love approach, the kind that makes you think, wow, my parents were softies. Hiko points out Kenshin's naive belief that merely refusing to kill is enough, explaining that without the will to live and fight, Kenshin is essentially a walking target for any determined villain. The scene emphasizes that Kenshin's commitment to protecting others is commendable, but his refusal to truly fight for his own life ultimately jeopardized those he aims to save. The crackling fire provides a stark contrast to the burning tension between master and student, as Hiko relentlessly dissects Kenshin's philosophy, proving that sometimes the harshest truths come from those who care the most. Kenshin, despite his internal turmoil, listens intently, knowing deep down that his master's words hold profound weight, even if they sting a little, driven by his failures and Hiko's brutal honesty. Kenshin begs his master to teach him the Hiten Mitsurugi style's ultimate technique, the Amikakeru Rire no Iramaken. Hiko, initially reluctant, perhaps seeing Kenshin's internal conflict as an obstacle, eventually agrees, realizing the dire stakes at play. He knows that only by mastering this ultimate skill can Kenshin hope to defeat Shishio and protect the era. Hiko demonstrates the technique, and holy moly, the force of it alone is enough to make you duck. The visual effect of the sheer power behind the swing is mesmerizing, a true testament to the legendary Hiten Mitsurugi style. The whoosh of the blade cutting through the air, combined with the sudden gust of wind, gives you a visceral sense of the technique's destructive potential. Kenshin, witnessing this raw power, realizes the immense challenge ahead of him. This isn't just about learning a new move. It's about pushing his body and spirit to their absolute limits, surpassing all his previous understanding of swordsmanship. The metallic clang of Hiko's blade as it finished its arc echoes through the forest, a sound that promises both salvation and extreme pain for Kenshin. And so, Kenshin's training begins, and let me tell you, it makes boot camp look like a spa day. Hiko, apparently a firm believer in no pain, no gain, subjects Kenshin to some truly brutal exercises. We see Kenshin pushing an absurdly large boulder up a hill, probably questioning every leg choice that led him to this moment. The grunts of effort and the scraping of the rock against the earth really sell the sheer physical exertion. The idea is to build not just muscle, but also an indomitable spirit. Hiko's training isn't just about physical prowess. It's a philosophical crucible. Kenshin must overcome his own self-doubt, his reluctance to embrace the killer instinct that the Hiten Mitsurugi style demands. He faces Hiko in sparring matches where the master barely breaks a sweat, effortlessly parrying Kenshin's desperate attacks. Each clash of their wooden swords resonates with a sharp thwack, a constant reminder of Kenshin's current inadequacy. The falling leaves around them seem to mock Kenshin's struggle, but he perseveres, driven by the faces of those he needs to protect. He pushes past the aches and pains, determined to bridge the gap between his current strength and the formidable power of his master. It's a classic Rocky montage, but with more samurai swords and less boxing gloves. Meanwhile, back in the civilized world, or what's left of it, Shishio Makoto is absolutely living his best life, which for him means causing maximum chaos. His grand plan involves sailing his monstrous ironclad battleship, the Rengoku, straight into Tokyo Bay to burn the capital to the ground. Because, you know, why not? The Rengoku itself is a beast of a ship, a true symbol of Shishio's technological and destructive ambitions. We get glimpses of its imposing structure, the dark metal gleaming menacingly under the sun, and the massive cannons that promise utter devastation. Shishio, ever the charismatic villain, gathers his elite group of warriors, the jumping katana, and delivers a chilling speech about the dawn of his new era, one forged in fire and blood. The ominous creaking of the ship's hull and the distant booms of cannons being tested create a palpable sense of dread. It's a stark reminder that while Kenshin is off doing spiritual push-ups, the world is rapidly spiraling into a fiery abyss. His forces are already spread across the country, sowing fear and doubt, demonstrating the sheer scale of his influence and the ruthlessness of his ambition. This guy doesn't just want to win. He wants to dominate, and he's got the firepower to back it up. Back in Kyoto, Kaoru, Sanosuke, and Yahiko are understandably losing their minds. Kenshin's disappearance after his brutal defeat has left them in a state of anxious uncertainty. They're running around like headless chickens, trying to find any trace of their wandering samurai. The mounting reports of Shishio's escalating atrocities only amplify their desperation. Every new rumor of a burned village or a defeated official sends a shiver down their spines, making them fear the worst for Kenshin and the future of Japan. Sanosuke, ever the hothead, is itching for a fight, convinced that Kenshin will reappear just in time to kick some serious butt, but even his bravado can't completely mask his worry. Kaoru, on the other hand, carries a quieter, deeper anxiety, her love for Kenshin evident in every worried glance and hushed question. The creak of their sandals on the cobblestone streets echoes their heavy hearts, a stark contrast to the distant shouts and commotion caused by Shishio's encroaching shadow. They encounter various resistance fighters and locals, all of whom share grim news, further solidifying the terrifying reality of Shishio's growing power. The entire city feels on edge, a palpable tension hanging in the air, a constant reminder of the encroaching darkness. It's like waiting for a meteor to hit, except the meteor has a really sharp sword and a penchant for pyromania. The true challenge of the Amikaku-ryū no Hirameki isn't just physical strength, it's understanding its philosophical core. Hiko reveals that the true secret lies not in the first move, but in the second. The first strike is meant to lure the opponent into a false sense of security, making them overcome it. Kenshin, hampered by his desire to protect and his deeply ingrained pacifist ideals, struggles immensely. His internal conflict, the very thing that makes him Kenshin, is now his biggest obstacle. He collapses time and time again, the raw sound of his body hitting the dirt emphasizing his failure. The problem isn't his technique. It's his inherent compassion. He can't bring himself to trick an opponent into a fatal opening, because that feels like a betrayal of his no-kill vow. Hiko, ever the patient but firm teacher, pushes Kenshin to confront this weakness, explaining that true protection sometimes requires the willingness to take life, or at least the willingness to deliver a decisive blow that leaves no room for doubt. The rhythmic clang of their wooden swords during practice is punctuated by Kenshin's frustrated grunts, a symphony of struggle and despair. He's wrestling with himself more than with the technique, a battle of ideals against grim necessity. With the fate of Japan hanging in the balance, finally, after countless failures, Kenshin has a breakthrough. He realizes that the will to live is not selfish. It's the ultimate form of protection. If he truly wants to protect others, he must first ensure his own survival. This epiphany allows him to fully grasp the second strike, the true essence of the Amikaku-ryū no Hirameki. He executes the technique with a newfound ferocity, a powerful roar escaping his lips, the whoosh of his sword slicing through the air with devastating speed. The camera focuses on the sheer power as his blade connects, not with Hiko, but with a massive boulder, splitting it clean in two with a satisfying crack. Even Hiko, notoriously stoic, shows a flicker of surprise and pride. The metallic echo of the sword impacting the rock resonates through the clearing, a testament to Kenshin's mastery. He has reconciled his ideals with the brutal reality of his world, forging a path that honors both his vow and his duty. It's a moment of pure triumph, a silent acknowledgement between master and student that Kenshin is truly ready. He's no longer just a wanderer. He's a force of nature, equipped with the skill and the resolve to face the storm head-on. It's like when you finally nail that impossible piano piece after months of practice, except instead of a standing ovation, you get to save a country. With his training complete and his spirit reforged, Kenshin makes his way back to Kyoto. His arrival is met with a surge of relief and hope from Kaoru, Sanosuke, and Yahiko. Their worried faces transform into joyous smiles as they see their friend, not just alive, but seemingly stronger than ever. It's a heartwarming reunion, a brief calm before the storm. The sound of their relieved shouts and Kaoru's emotional embrace really hammers home how much Kenshin means to them, and how much they feared they'd lost him. There's a quiet understanding that passes between Kenshin and Kaoru, a promise in their eyes that he won't be defeated again. Sanosuke, ever the boisterous one, claps Kenshin on the back with a hearty thud, clearly ready to follow his friend into any battle. The atmosphere, though still tense with the threat of Shishio, is now infused with renewed determination. They gather their thoughts, sharing information about Shishio's latest movements and the escalating threat he poses. Kenshin, listening intently, confirms that he is indeed ready, his eyes burning with a calm, steely resolve. The time for hiding and training is over. It's time to confront the fire. He's like that one friend who disappears for months to find himself and then comes back looking like a superhero. Annoying but undeniably cool. The plan is set: storm the Rengoku battleship before it can set sail for Tokyo. It's a suicide mission, but frankly, what isn't in this movie? Kenshin, Sanosuke, and Saito, along with a contingent of police forces, launch their daring night raid. The scene is tense, with hushed whispers and the quiet splash of oars cutting through the water. The colossal battleship looms ominously in the darkness, a metal fortress waiting to unleash hell. The sheer scale of the Rengoku is intimidating, a stark contrast to the small, agile boats carrying our heroes. They stealthily approach, scaling the ship's sides, the metallic scrape of their gear against the hull barely audible over the waves. You can almost feel the cold steel against their fingertips. The first few encounters are quick, brutal, and silent, with the dull thuds of bodies hitting the deck. It's an almost balletic infiltration, punctuated by the occasional glint of moonlight on a drawn blade. Saito, ever the pragmatist, takes down enemies with ruthless efficiency, his movements economical and deadly. Sanosuke, of course, is less subtle, probably itching to smash something with his giant sword, but for now, even he's keeping things quiet. The tension is palpable as they navigate the ship's labyrinthine corridors, knowing that any wrong turn could lead to their demise. It's like a really high-stakes game of hide and seek, but with swords and a lot more immediate danger. Once aboard, Sanosuke quickly abandons any pretense of stealth. True to form, he wades into a massive brawl on the deck. His enormous zanbatsu, which is basically a giant slab of metal making quick work of Shishio's moves. The sound of his weapon, a massive clang stud with every swing, is incredibly satisfying. You hear the crack of wooden poles and the grunt of bodies flying through the air. He's a one-man wrecking crew, a whirlwind of fists and steel, probably having the time of his life. The deck becomes a chaotic ballet of violence, with Sanosuke at its center, absorbing blows and dishing them out with equal measure. He takes a punch like a champ and returns it with the force of a small truck. The explosions and shouts from other parts of the ship provide a constant, drumming soundtrack to his personal rampage, reminding us that this is just one corner of a much larger, more desperate battle. He grins through the pain, a true brawler who thrives in the thick of the action, proving that sometimes brute force and sheer determination are just as effective as elegant swordplay. His shouts of defiance echo across the ship, a battle cry that signals Kenshin's arrival and the beginning of the end for Shishio's plans. Honestly, watching him fight is like watching a highly destructive, yet incredibly charismatic tornado. Meanwhile, Saito, the ever-cool and collected former Shinsengumi captain, carves his own path through the Rengoku's interior. His fighting style is a stark contrast to Sanosuke's wild brawling. Saito is all about precision and brutal efficiency, his sword a deadly extension of his will. The soft ching of his blade being drawn is often the last sound his opponents hear. He moves through the dim corridors like a ghost, his gatatsu stance a prelude to swift, decisive strikes. He impales to enemies at once with a single, fluid motion, the dull thud of bodies hitting the steel deck quickly following. There's no wasted movement, no flashy theatrics, just pure, unadulterated killing intent. The camera often focuses on his intense gaze, conveying his unwavering resolve and his utter contempt for Shishio's ideology. He's not here for glory. He's here to finish the job, to uphold his own twisted sense of justice. The subtle creak of the ship's metal groaning under the pressure of battle provides a fittingly grim backdrop to Sato's methodical slaughter. He's a man who understands that in war, sentimentality is a luxury, and he's not one to indulge. It's like watching a highly effective, incredibly sharp, human letter opener amidst the chaos. Aoshi Shinomori, still consumed by his obsession to defeat Kenshin and reclaim the honor he feels Kenshin stole, confronts his former master, Okina, Okina tries to talk sense into Aoshi, pleading with him to abandon his dark path and remember the true meaning of their ninja clan, the Oniwabanshig. But Aoshi, his face a mask of cold fury, is beyond reasoning. He's too far gone, too blinded by his perceived dishonor. The emotional weight of this scene is palpable, the crackling tension between mentor and student almost unbearable. The clashing of their kodachi swords is swift and brutal, a metallic symphony of regret and misplaced vengeance. Okina, despite his age, puts up a valiant fight, his movements still sharp and experienced, but Aoshi's younger strength and his desperate, obsessive focus ultimately proved too much. The tragic thud of Okina's body falling symbolizes Aoshi's complete descent into darkness, a heartbreaking moment for anyone who remembers their shared past. It's a classic case of listen to your elders, kids. They usually know what they're talking about, but Aoshi apparently skipped that memo. The visual of Okina's last, pained expression really sells the tragedy, confirming that Aoshi is now truly lost to his demons. At least for a little while, the moment we've all been waiting for. Kenshin finally comes face to face with Aoshi. This isn't just a fight, it's a clash of ideologies, a battle for Aoshi's very soul. Aoshi unleashes his devastating Kodachi Midori, a two-sword style that is both elegant and deadly, his movements a blur. Kenshin, now fully embodying the Hiten Mitsurugi style, meets him blow for blow. The metallic clang of their swords is relentless, a rapid-fire symphony of steel on steel. Sparks fly with every deflection, illuminating their desperate faces in the dim light of the ship. Aoshi, fueled by his obsession, pushes Kenshin to his limits. His attacks are relentless barrage. Kenshin, however, has grown not just in skill but in spirit. He fights not with anger, but with a desire to save his former comrade, to pull Aoshi back from the brink of his self-destructive path. The whoosh of their blades, the grunts of effort, and the constant threat of a fatal blow create an intensely gripping atmosphere. It's an emotionally charged duel, where every parry and strike carries the weight of their past and the hope for Aoshi's future. It's like watching two incredibly talented dancers try to kill each other, which, let's be honest, is peak entertainment. The ship's rocking adds another layer of difficulty, making their footing precarious. Yet they maintain their balance with supernatural grace. The duel reaches its climax as Kenshin finally manages to break through Aoshi's defenses, both physical and emotional. Using a variation of his new technique, Kenshin delivers a decisive, non-lethal blow, disarming Aoshi and forcing him to confront the truth of his actions. The thud of Aoshi's kodachi hitting the metal deck is loud in the sudden silence, a stark end to the chaotic fight. In that moment, Aoshi's eyes clear. The obsession that clouded his judgment for so long finally lives. He sees the destructive path he's been on, the comrades he's lost, and the true meaning of honor that he had twisted. It's a powerful moment of redemption, a silent acknowledgement that Kenshin's compassion has saved him. Aoshi, still reeling from the defeat but freed from his inner demons, finally accepts his path and the responsibility of the Oniwabanshig. He understands that Kenshin truly cares, not just about defeating villains, but about saving souls, even those consumed by darkness. It's a heartwarming, if slightly cliché, resolution, but hey, who doesn't love a good villain redemption arc? The quiet click of Kenshin sheathing his sword marks the end of this personal battle, preparing him for the larger one ahead. As Kenshin, Aoshi, and the others press deeper into the Rengoku, they encounter more of Shishio's elite jumping katana. These are no mere thugs. Each possesses a unique and dangerous fighting style. We get quick, intense skirmishes as our heroes cut through the remaining high-ranking members. Sanosuke, fueled by the adrenaline of battle, smashes his way through a group, his shouts of defiance echoing through the corridors. Saito, with his cold, calculating efficiency, dispatches another, his sword moving like a whisper of death. Kenshin, ever focused, deftly handles yet another, his movements a blur of red and steel. The metallic clashes, the grunts, and the sharp whizzes of blades cutting through the air are a constant reminder of the high stakes. Each mini-battle is choreographed with incredible detail, showcasing the unique strengths and fighting styles of both our heroes and Shishio's loyal, if misguided, followers. It's a quick showcase of power, a preamble to the main event, reminding us that Shishio isn't just some guy with a sword. He's got a whole squad of eccentric, lethal individuals. These fights are designed to whittle down Kenshin's strength and test his resolve, ensuring that by the time he reaches Shishio, he's already somewhat depleted. It's like clearing out all the mini-bosses before you get to the final boss. Except the mini-bosses are genuinely terrifying. Finally, after what feels like an entire odyssey, Kenshin, along with Saito, Sanosuke, and a newly reformed Aoshi, stand before Shishio in his lavish, flame-lit chamber. Shishio, ever the dramatic one, is perched atop his throne, radiating menace and a bizarre sense of theatrical grandeur. The air crackles with tension, the anticipation almost unbearable. The dull thrumming of the ship's engines beneath them is a constant, unsettling reminder of their precarious situation. Shishio, his entire body wrapped in bandages, is an imposing figure, his eyes burning with a cruel ambition. He mocks Kenshin, reiterating his belief in the survival of the fittest, a philosophy that starkly contrasts Kenshin's protective ideals. He questions Kenshin's strength and resolve, clearly enjoying this final confrontation. The metallic glint of Shishio's flaming sword, Mugenjin, flickers in the dim light, promising a fiery death to anyone who dares oppose him. The chamber itself is a testament to Shishio's ego, decorated with symbols of his power and wealth. It's the ultimate villain lair, complete with dramatic lighting and a very pointed throne. You can almost feel it radiating from Shishio's bandaged form, a visual metaphor for his internal fire, both literal and metaphorical. It's like the ultimate boss battle arena, complete with a villain who won't stop monologuing. But hey, at least he's stylish about it. The battle begins, and it's everything you'd expect and more. Kenshin and Shishio clash with a ferocity that threatens to tear the ship apart. Shishio's Mugenjin, his flaming sword, with its serrated edge and self-igniting properties, is a terrifying weapon capable of inflicting severe burns. The metallic shriek of their blades as they grind against each other is deafening, filling the chamber with a symphony of destruction. Kenshin, relying on his perfected heightened style, finds himself struggling against Shishio's brutal strength and unconventional tactics. Shishio is a master of psychological warfare, constantly taunting Kenshin, trying to break his spirit. The whoosh of Shishio's fiery blade and the intense heat radiating from it add another layer of danger, making every block and parry a high-stakes gamble. Kenshin's reverse blade Saka Bado clangs repeatedly against the serrated edge, sparks flying like a miniature fireworks display. The blows are heavy, each impact reverberating through the ship's structure. Kenshin gets thrown around, the dull thud of his body hitting the floor selling the sheer power of Shishio's attacks. You can hear his grunts of pain, the sheer effort required to withstand the onslaught. It's clear that Shishio isn't just powerful, he's relentless, a true force of nature, and Kenshin is barely holding on. It's like trying to fight a literal fire with a really sharp stick, which, to be fair, is what Kenshin is doing. Then, a critical plot point, Shishio's fatal flaw reveals itself. Due to severe burns sustained long ago, he can only fight for about 15 minutes before his body literally overheats and he spontaneously combusts. This gives Kenshin a fighting chance, but he's exhausted. Seeing Kenshin struggle, his allies, Saito, Sanosuke, and Aoshi, step in, one by one, to buy Kenshin precious seconds. Sanosuke charges in with a roar, his powerful blows briefly staggering Shishio, tying up his fists, and the metallic clang of his Zanbatu providing a momentary distraction. Saito, ever the professional, engages with his Katatsu, forcing Shishio to defend, the sharp sheen of his blade contrasting with the heavy thud of Shishio's sword. Aoshi, now fighting for redemption, joins the fray, his Kodachi style a whirlwind of elegant brutality. Each one takes brutal punishment, absorbing blows that would kill a lesser man, their grunts of pain echoing through the chamber. Their sacrifice is heartbreaking and inspiring, a testament to their loyalty and their belief in Kenshin. The ticking clock of Shishio's overheating body becomes a tangible threat, pushing our heroes to their absolute limits. It's like watching your friends hold open a very heavy door while you scramble to disarm a bomb. Intense, right? Each minute they buy comes at a severe cost, highlighting the desperation of their situation against such an overwhelming foe. With his friend severely injured and Shishio nearing his time limit, Kenshin steps forward for the final showdown. He's battered and bruised, and probably has a few broken ribs, but his resolve is unbroken. Shishio, now visibly struggling, his skin blistering, fights with a desperate, animalistic fury. The temperature in the room rises, the air thick with the smell of burning flesh and ozone. Kenshin, harnessing every ounce of his remaining strength, unleashes the true Amikaku-ryū no Hirameki. The power of the first strike, the feint, makes Shishio overcome it, giving Kenshin the opening for the devastating second strike. The push of Kenshin's sword is unlike anything before, a sound that promises finality. The metallic clang as it connects with Shishio's sword is explosive, a deflating sound that marks the turning point. Shishio, momentarily stunned, is left vulnerable. Kenshin follows through with a powerful blow, sending Shishio reeling. The final clash is a whirlwind of movement, fire, and steel, culminating in Kenshin's triumphant, yet weary expression. It's the ultimate test of will and skill, a true cinematic masterpiece of sword fighting. You can almost feel the heat emanating from Shishio's burning form as he struggles against his own body, his ambition literally consuming him. This is the moment where Kenshin earns his Legend Ends title. It's epic, it's dramatic, and frankly, it's probably really hard to choreograph without someone getting accidentally whacked. True to his unique weakness, Shishio's body finally gives out. Having pushed past his 15-minute limit, he literally bursts into flames, consumed by his own internal combustion. The visual is horrifyingly spectacular, a testament to his own fiery ambition and the cruel irony of his defeat. The crackling sound of his body turning to ash, the smell of smoke filling the chamber, and the stunned silence from our heroes make this an incredibly impactful end to a formidable villain. There's no triumphant roar from Kenshin, just a shared moment of exhaustion and solemn understanding of the sheer power they face. His demise is swift and absolute, leaving nothing but a charred husk. The entire Rengoku battleship, now heavily damaged from the battles and explosions, begins its slow descent into the ocean, a fitting tune for Shishio and his twisted dreams. It's a stark reminder that even the most powerful villains have their Achilles heel, or in Shishio's case, their Achilles sweat glands. The dramatic sinking of the ship serves as a powerful symbol of the old, violent era of being laid to rest, making way for a new, hopefully more peaceful, future. It's truly an inferno of an ending for the man who tried to set the world ablaze. With Shishio defeated and the Rengoku sinking, Kenshin and his severely injured but victorious friends begin their journey back to Tokyo. The scene shows them on a smaller boat, sailing under a surprisingly calm, clear sky. There's a palpable sense of relief, but also the lingering weight of their experiences. They're all bandaged up, looking like they went 12 rounds with a badger, but their spirits are intact. The gentle lapping of the waves against the boat and the soft breeze are a soothing contrast to the explosions and sword clashes of moments before. Kaoru tends to Kenshin, a quiet affection passing between them, a silent promise of a peaceful future. Sanosuke, despite his injuries, is already cracking jokes, proving that some things never change. Even Aoshi and Saito, typically stoic, share a look of grim satisfaction. The scars they bear are a testament to their courage and the battles they've won. It's a moment of collective healing, a journey back to the brink, symbolizing their return to a more normal, if irrevocably changed, life. It's the aftermath phase, where everyone tries to figure out how to walk straight again. They're not just sailing home, they're sailing into a new dawn, leaving the darkness of Shishio's reign behind them, ready to face whatever new challenges the future might hold. Probably over a nice cup of tea. Back at the Kamiya dojo, life slowly returns to a semblance of normalcy. The sounds of everyday life, the rustle of leaves, the distant chatter of children, replace the clang of swords and the roar of battle. Kenshin, now free from the immediate threat of Shishio, makes a heartfelt promise to Kaoru. He will no longer wander, but will stay by her side, dedicating his life to protecting her and the dojo. It's a quiet, profound moment, a testament to the love that has blossomed amidst the chaos. The soft sunlight filtering through the dojo's windows bathes them in a warm glow, symbolizing the hope for a brighter future. It's a beautiful conclusion to an epic saga. Kenshin has found his true peace, not in a new identity, but in accepting his past and choosing a future where he can protect what he holds dear without losing himself. This story, The Legend Ends, signifies the end of the Batusai's era of bloodshed and the beginning of Kenshin's unwavering commitment to a peaceful future. It's a powerful reminder that true strength isn't just about wielding a sword, but about wielding hope, forgiveness, and the enduring power of love. So as our recap ends, remember Kenshin's journey, from a legendary killer to a protector, forever bound by his vow, but now, finally, truly home.